Congratulations to Tommy Herring on the 2025 Swine Web Hall of Fame induction. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today, Tommy.
Thank you, Jim. I'm honored to be here.
A legacy of leadership and innovation with you and the Herring family as you've built Hog Slat to excellence. We've wanted to honor your achievements on this and want to start at the beginning, the origins of excellence, Billy Herring's vision. What inspired you guys to start Hog Slat, Tommy, and the challenges you faced in the early years?
We started, or my father started Hog Slat really as a basic need. He was running a really small feed mill, and they had constructed a 300 sow farm, and they needed slats for a nursery, and they didn't have a really access to what they thought was quality slats, and they started producing them for that nursery.
So when you started, how did they envision the future at that time? Was it just trying to find a solution, or did you guys have a forward-thinking vision to where you are today?
I think really the solution, it was filling a need at the time. It was just filling a need, and he had a partner that was a Purina feed salesman, and that partner they pooled their money along with my uncle, and my uncle decided to get out because he had other business ventures that he wanted to focus on. So it was my father and the apprentice feed salesman for the first until from 1969 to 1976 they ran it, and the feed salesman was out promoting the product. My father was at home building the product, and it was again just need based, but we hit it at the right time. Timing was very good, and he was able to uh, get the product in front of customers. And my father was real detail oriented in manufacturing the product. He actually engaged people at NC State in concrete expertise, concrete engineers. He engaged agriculture engineers in the livestock side of it. So he did the right thing. And he actually also built a test farm the first year he was in business. And he built a little room that had concrete slats in one end and wooden slats in the other. And he tested that over a 4 or 5 year period to prove that they were better, would perform better.
So you took the time, you had the vision. So it was TDM. So you guys were pig farmers. You launched a solution, and
No, it wasn't TDM, Jim. I hate to interrupt you, but it was actually my father and his brothers. And for the first 3 years, my father run the feed mill within the family operation, and Hog Slat was operated on the side with 2.5 people. Two people were full time, and one guy worked at lunchtime. So they were producing those slats for their family operation. TDM didn't come into existence until 1983, and this was done in 1969.
so building global success. What were the key decisions that propelled Hog Slat into the global market, Tommy?
It was really, again, it was a need, it was a request. Uh, we followed people like Smithfield to destinations that they wanted to invest in the industry and outside the country, and they couldn't get the products they needed and the quality they needed and get the service and the dependable supply, and they asked us to go with them. We also worked with PIC. We worked with the cab swine breeders. We worked with a lot of the genetic companies that were working outside the United States. One really, I feel the need to say this. Uh, Getting out, we're in a small town in Newton Grove with 600 people. Very in North Carolina, it's very small, rural setting. Leaving Newton Grove and going to Des Moines, Iowa was like going outside the country. You know, it's We went in 1984, we went to Plains, Kansas and built a multiplication unit for DeKalb swine breeders. At the time, DeKalb swine breeders and PIC were the two biggest genetic companies. What's amazing there is Roy Pogue that ran DeKalb swine breeders had a vision in 1984 to modularize a hog farm and build it, put it in a container and ship it to China. So we did that in Plains, Kansas. And it was sort of like the Edsel car. It was way ahead of its time, but it's amazing his vision that China needed pork and they had all those people. So we really, I don't think we blazed the trail saying we're going to China or we're going to Mexico or we're going to Russia. It was people within the industry called us and said, please come.
What values and principles did you personally instill to keep carrying the business forward, Tommy?
Well, we looked for people that were bright and we looked for people that enjoyed doing what they were doing. We looked for people that were dedicated and didn't mind hard work. And we gave them a comfort zone, a comfortable place that they could work, and we supported them. And really, the biggest thing is we always strive to satisfy the customer. Hopefully, we never leave a customer, no matter how small or big, not satisfied. We want to satisfy them. If it costs money to satisfy them, then we spend that money and we learn from it.
Now, what about balancing innovation and tradition as you expanded the company?
Well, some people may say we're a little bit slow to on some things, slow to grasp new products. We were really slow in the very front end. Not faulting my father, but he had made his beginning with concrete slats, and it was really difficult for him to allow us to sell woven wire and expanded metal back in the 70s. But we recognized that those products actually had a place, and they outperformed the concrete slats in certain instances. So we embraced them, but we never embraced them until we could prove that they were good. We didn't embrace them because they were the latest fads. We didn't chase fads. We chased value for the customer.
And what about the lessons you've learned from working with your brothers, David and Mark, on such a large scale?
First thing you learn is everybody has value, and everybody has different competencies. David is a much better networker than I am. Mark really understands equipment and understands the manufacturing process. I'm not real good at anything, but I work hard at everything. So, just figuring out who plays tight end, who plays defensive back, and who plays this, and then give them the rein to do that.
Focus on your role, execution, build the right team, and work hard, right?
And try to find somebody that's smarter than you all the time.
Now, what about innovating agriculture, the TDM Farms contributions? I know you guys got a lot with TDM, with Hog Slat. How has TDM remained a leader in efficiency and sustainability over the years?
The biggest thing with TDM is I think our customers realize that now, but if you write a check to balance a business out and make a business work every week, every day, then you learn what does and doesn't work. And they recognize that we've been able to stay in the business and be successful in it. And we use the products we think and develop the products we think that allow us to run our business the best, and they transfer into their business.
Is there any specific innovation or practice that has revolutionized your operations at TDM?
TDM, we were the first company, I think. I didn't know of another company that did that. But my wife was in the poultry industry, and she worked in the poultry industry the first few years we were married. And I recognized the efficiencies that poultry have by running a hatchery and delivering pigs or not pigs but biddies out there. And we came up with the wing to finish idea. And a lot of people said you can't raise a nursery pig in a finishing building. And I just said that wire's better than slats on a nursery pig. So there's a bit of contradiction there, but we went ahead and tried it and we measured it, and we got similar to slightly better or slightly worse, basically the same results, wing to finish as the nursery model. But the wing to finish allowed us to ship pigs a lot further, and it allowed us to move pigs at the time they were weaned, and that they were being stressed. So stress them for 2 hours to walk them to a nursery, or even drive them to a nursery, versus stress them a few more hours and put them in a finisher. And a finisher, you turn a finisher, a wing to finish once every twice a year. So at the end of 20 years, a finisher has seen 40 groups of pigs. Okay, and they've seen them in a barn that's cooler, and it doesn't have the rainforest type effect, so it doesn't grow bacteria and bugs as good as a nursery does. A nursery will see 140 to 150 groups of pigs in that same period of time. So the wing to finish really has worked really well for us and a lot of people that are spread out or want to move their operation around.
So let's talk about the Hog Slat's evolution, celebrating how Hog Slats embrace modern technology while preserving its roots. So how's the company adapted to industry trends over the years, Tommy?
First of all, one of the trends that we haven't adapted is a automated phone that sends you from A to Z. We have a live voice answer that phone all the time. So that we put a value on customer relationship and customer service. So that's almost a negative, but you know, we've done things in the industry, like one of the big things, it's really not adapting technology, but we have taught the industry, or the industry has the industries work together, and basically everything in the industry is a 4x10 slat now, but besides a few 4x8s. When we first started in this industry, there was 4x5s and 4x6s and 4x5s with this and 4x10s with this, and there was, my inventory looked like a hodgepodge of everything. The industry has taken the technology of building buildings and figured out how to modularize the slat industry. And I don't think anybody really understands how big an advantage that is to the industry. For me to be able to make a 4x10 90% of the time, I can make them cheaper and quicker. The industry got a better building and better value. It's little things. People want to see technology that comes in and just turns the hog industry upside down. It's not that, it's just working smarter and more efficiently. And but there is some things. In 1988, we built a research farm, and we put a computer system in that would measure anything and do anything in that farm you wanted to. It was just more difficult. The technology now is we've got computers that can do it, and it's a lot easier for the worker that's not a computer savvy to run it. So we've embraced those kind of things. But at the same time, I think the biggest thing we need to do is manage technology and make sure the technology fits the skill level of the farm managers.
Well, that's well said. You know, the technology is an asset, but people have to learn and adapt to it. So when we talk about that, how do you ensure Hog Slat's innovations remain producer focused. So you touched on making the technology adaptable to producers. Is there anything else, Tommy?
Well, we use it on our farm, and we prove that it is adaptable. We don't, and we put a training program in to train those people how to use it. And sometimes the systems fail. We put systems in that just fail. You couldn't, you just, it's sort of like kicking a football. There's only a few people on that field that can kick it. If you got a piece of technology that's so difficult that only 1 in 10 people can use it, no matter how much you train, or they got to be using it all day, every day. We seek out different items that we can train, that people are trainable to use. Even and the hogs are trainable to use it. Actually, there's a lot of technology out there that it works really good if you put forth the effort with train the hogs to use it. But if you don't, it's not that great. You have the same thing in the poultry industry with a lot of the technology that's coming along now. They even have to train the pullets how to work in the layer houses, because, and if you can't do that, then the system doesn't work.
Now, what about, let's touch on sustainability briefly, Tommy. What's your thoughts on sustainability with Hog Slat and TDM and some of your focus moving forward?
I struggle with the definition of sustainability. Uh, and I guess sustainability is that you can stay in business and not create a footprint that damages where you're at. And so we weigh that all the time. Can we engage this technology, or can we change and still stay in business and stay and be? Can we survive and remain what somebody says sustained? So first of all, you got to survive, and then you do everything you can to mitigate your impact on the people around you, the soil, the air, everything around you. And I think we do that very well. I think the industry does it much better. The whole industry is so far ahead of where we were when I was 10 or 12 years old. There's just no comparison. The industry now has a wing to finish barn or finishing barn that contains all the waste in a very, very controlled situation. And we have some of the amazing technology to get that waste out of that barn and get it sometimes 5 and 6 miles away from that barn in a hose that doesn't burn very, very little electricity or diesel fuel. And it's put in the farm on the soil in the most efficient and most agronomically correct measures. It's just amazing, and we don't do enough talking about it. We don't do a good job educating the public on just how good we do that.
So something we can work on. Now, you guys ensure innovations meet practical needs for farmers, Tommy. Can you talk a little bit about why hands-on testing of products is so important through the Hog Slat process?
Well, at Hog Slat, we're testing products primarily for reliability, durability, serviceability. So I think we have the most robust testing protocol and effort in the industry. I know a lot of my competitors, and I have some people that have worked for my competitors, and we don't cut corners when it comes to testing products. And I'm not saying any of those people do, but sometimes we spend more money. For example, we're one of the few people that have a full-blown, very up-to-date wind tunnel to test our fans. We have very good labs to test our slats and our other stuff in. And then from the pig side of it, we're constantly we have test facilities that we can run tests on different kinds of rations, on different kinds of feeders, on different kinds of feed delivery systems. And we're always doing that to make sure that first of all, it's good for our business, TDM, but it's good for our customer, our Hog Slat customer. We got confidence. For instance, when we're selling a tri-deck floor that goes under a sow in the ferret house, or pigs in the ferret house, or even a nursery building if somebody's using nursery, we test that through a simulated sow that's on top of it walking, and about every 100 piece, 80 or 100 piece, we'll test that on the cycle. It's accelerated testing that's equal to 15 years in the barn.
So superior quality, customer service. You have your skin in the game with TDM. You got the testing down and the best products on the market. As we look ahead in the future, Tommy, the next generation, what does the future look like for Hog Slat and TDM?
I think we produce a product called pork chops and barbecue and tenderloin that is very competitive in the marketplace. It's very nutritious. We need to do a better job of telling people how to prepare it, not dry it out so much. And I think that gives us people can always eat that product, so that gives us a market to work to. Then we got to find the skilled people that enjoy what they're doing. And I think the most important thing with anybody, that if they're in a job that they like and enjoy, they're going to excel at, or be more likely to excel at. So we got to identify those people that want to do what we do, and then we need to give them a support, environment and support that allows them to express their talents.
Now, how are you mentoring the next generation to take the reins?
We like to start our people at the very bottom. I'd like for everybody, if they have a chance to work in a sow farm, 6 months or a year. My son worked in sow farms for 10 years after he got out of college. I asked him to go get a job, uh, and he did. And he worked in the industry with somebody else for 2.5 years. And that gave him a lot of network. And then he come home and he worked in a sow farm running sows for 10 years. And that gave him the knowledge to run the hog operation, but it also gave him the knowledge that he understood the customer's needs. I can remember going to the World Pork Expo when it was not World Pork Expo, the World National Hog Show, National Pork Producer Show. And it was in Kansas City, Missouri. It used to rotate between Kansas City, Des Moines, and Indianapolis. And as a guy came in there and he built a fairing crate that when the sow walked in it, they strapped her legs where she couldn't move her legs. And when she needed to lay down, they'd lay her down and then they'd stand her back up. And, that's an extreme example. But if you don't understand what's going on in the sow farm, if you've never worked in a finishing farm, if you've never even been in a sow farm, it's hard to service somebody and be a good, if you're selling hog equipment, it's hard to do a good job at it. If you're trying to run the hog operation, so hands-on, dirty, hands-on, hard work, understanding what the sows need, understanding what the employees that are working in the farm go through, and they need that's the best college I can send, and for preparation and mentoring. And then from a mentoring standpoint, you know, I need to demonstrate that we look after our customers, that we don't get mad and treat people bad. We don't set bad examples, just set a good example.
Do you have a message you'd like to leave for future leaders of the industry?
Stay positive. Just stay positive. Don't overreact, and keep a very open mind. There's things coming down the road that really test our resolve and make us want to get upset and do stuff that probably is not that smart. But if we stay positive, keep an open mind and a level attitude, and don't let our emotions take control of our, it'll work out.
Well, congratulations on remarkable achievement, Tommy, and welcome to the Swine Web Hall of Fame 2025.
Thank you, and I invite anybody that we would really enjoy or welcome anybody that would like to come to Hog Slat, North Carolina, and visit us, or even our operation in Humboldt, Iowa. And we'd be glad to give you a tour, and we're going to serve you some barbecue if you come.
Everyone will be coming, Tommy. Thank you.
Okay.